Guys, we are live. Yes, wait, yes, yes, we are live. All right, you're welcome here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us today. And it is Tuesday. Hi, Rich Dog Concept. If you're here and you can see me, just simply go on your chat and say hello. If this is your first time joining me, put a hashtag and say first time joining you for this conversation. This conversation today is going to be on how do we begin to access knowledge? What do we do with knowledge? All right. If you can hear me, please let me see your comment in the comment section that you can hear me. If you can hear me, let me see your comment in the comment section that you can hear me. All right. Good afternoon. A brief introduction of who is speaking to you. First time, David Onoche. Oh, awesome. Good to have you here. Brief introduction. My name is Wendy Ologe, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parents Academy. The Intentional Parents Academy is an academy for parents. I like the way that I say that, right? It's the academy for parents. This is where we teach parents how to parent. And you are here for the first time, please put a hashtag and say first timer. Yes, maybe we'll sing for you. All right. For those of us who have been here for a while. And if you are just coming in, right, you've been watching, just say hello and tell me where you're streaming live from. I am streaming live from Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria. So if you're anywhere else, just tell me where you're streaming from. That will help us. Sorry, let me get my earpiece. All right. Though your voice is cracking. Oh wow, is my voice still cracking? YouTube people are saying that my voice is cracking. Please confirm that my voice is okay, but your audio is not so clear. Oh wow. Okay, I guess maybe the network. If you can hear me clearly, please let me know. If you can hear me clearly, please let me know. Let me know and see what we can do about that. If you can hear me clearly, it's still cracking. It's still cracking. Hello, streaming from Owerri. Okay, all right. Can you hear me on Facebook? Please confirm it's clear now. Oh, wow. Okay, great. All right. Okay, so I'm trying my earpiece. Someone says it's clear now. Please, I can hear you clearly. Thank you, people who are not clear. Please, can you hear me clearly now? YouTube family, YouTube community, is it clear now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me on Facebook, please? If you're just joining us, this is our Tuesday live session. Streaming live every Tuesday at 2 p.m. All right, 2 p.m. every Tuesday, we are here streaming live, talking to you about different things in parenting. And today we are looking at knowledge. Why is knowledge, something that we even need, right? And something that we can hear you. All right, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. YouTube, it said it's clear now. Augustine, if you're listening to me, please help me share and I'll make an announcement on the Facebook community. All right, so that people can join in. I'm hoping that there was notification, but just share so that people can join in into the session. Thank you. So we're looking at parenting from the place of knowledge. Parenting from the place of knowledge, right? If you're just joining me, my name is Wendy Ologi, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parents Academy, and I'm here every Tuesday sharing with you. We're having conversations on parenting. Today, we're having parenting from the place of knowledge. Tell hello and tell me where you're streaming live from. I am streaming live from the capital city, Abuja. All right, thank you so much for all the responses of the people that can hear me. So it means that we can go now. So parenting from the place of knowledge. When you hear parenting from the place of knowledge, a lot of the times, I usually look at it from different aspects, different concepts. And I've heard a lot of people say, knowledge? Do we really need knowledge? Can't we just do this thing from what we already know? Why do we need to even bother at all about knowledge? Is it necessary? So today we're going to be looking at it. looking at it from different angles, so that way we would also be able to give a clear, have a clear conversation on both fronts on this. All right. Hi, Mom. So we're going to be looking at parenting from the place of knowledge. There are 3 tenets of something that I call 6 tenets of intentional parenting. 6 tenets of intentional parenting. Unfortunately, I will only be teaching just 1 tenet in the public phase. These whole 6 tenets will be taught only to the parents in our academy. Number 1 is ability to frame problems appropriately. All right, hi, Mom. Number 1 is the ability to frame problems appropriately. That's number 1 tenet of intentional parenting. Number 2 is the ability to aim for the right purpose. Now, let me give a bit of the background at the first one. Ability to frame problems appropriately. Many times we have problems, yes. There are things happening, yes, but we do not even understand how we can put it in perspective. And like they say, it's difficult to solve anything at all that you cannot understand. If you're listening to me on YouTube for the first time, remember that when you hear something that that hits you differently, we call it all those words, quotes, whatever it is. Put on the fire emoji inside your stream. All right, and also remember to click the like button. All right, if you're listening to me on Facebook, remember that you can't share from our close community. You can only tag the person to be able to and add them to the group to be able to see these conversations. All right. Yes, my mom is here learning. She's a grandma too. She's learning parenting. She's always here every Tuesday. Someone is teasing me. Yes. All right. So, and I really wish that a lot of people, right, will be as learnable, wanting to learn like my mom is, even though she has parented and all of that. She's constantly trying to update her knowledge, trying to read the books, and trying to ask questions. What can be done more, and all of that. All right. So if you are on Facebook, please remember to also add the fire emojis when you hear that thing that resonates with you. All right. And then remember that on YouTube, you can also share. All right. You can also share the things that you have, the link. You can share, it's shareable. All right. Thank you so much. And my big sister is here too. Entire your thing. Somebody is asking if I'm not shy. Why do I need to be shy? All right, so let's go. So I formed the 6 tenets of intentional parenting, and I said that 1 is the ability to frame problems appropriately. I'm going to give a big step in it. Like I said, we won't be teaching any of that in our live session. They are all. This is actually a curriculum for the inner circle parents, right? So I'm teaching just one part of it to you because, yeah, I love you like that. Okay. All right. So ability to frame problems appropriately, right? So it is difficult for you to solve a problem you do not know. And on our journey, right, you need to understand that there is an ability to actually be able to do that. And if you do not have that ability, it becomes difficult to actually parent. A lot of the times, we are constantly struggling because the problems that we have, we can't frame it. And because we can't frame, you can't fight a war that you are not aware of. You can't fight a war that you're not aware of. You need to be aware of the war that you're fighting to be able to fight it. So that's what the ability to frame problems appropriately is about. All right, that's 1 tenet. Number 2 tenet of intentional parenting is the ability to aim for right purpose. Now, in parenting, there is right purpose for parenting, right? You are parenting and you don't even know why you are parenting. A lot of people do not understand why they are really parents and do not understand the purpose, of their child. What am I doing? Am I just raising people who just, wake up, grow up, have a good job and all of that? Is that the purpose? So your ability to aim for the right purpose is another tenet of intentional parenting. And like I said, we're not going further than that. Then number 3 is the ability to expand your perspective. Now, your perspective is limited. That's the truth. I look at it a lot of the times, and when people say, I can do this thing all by myself. So your perspective, right? It's like I said, there's a limitation to your perspective. So you need the ability to expand on that perspective that you have. Yes, you ought to be able to look from inside in and not always as a participant. Very key. All right. So it is important that you expand on that perspective. So ability to do that is another tenet of intentional parenting. Then number 4, ability to have your emotions in check. If you must parent intentionally, then your emotions must be in check. I see a lot of parents, a lot of the mess that we make on our journey is because our emotions are everywhere. I've had a lot of parents in our academy, in the inner circle, come back to me to say, Coach, if I didn't work on my emotions before this happened, I would have messed up the whole opportunity to be able to actually make sense out of all of the things that happened when they happened to my child. So the ability to have your emotions in check is the number 4 tenet of intentional parenting. Then number 5 is understanding the concept of what we call balance and what I choose to call essentialism. Understanding the concept of essentialism. What is essential per time? Now, when we teach balance like, oh, okay, say this is what everybody should be doing. No, it's not really about balance, really, right? It is about what is essential per time. Balance means that, my life, all right, my life is supposed to be here. Oh, I'm supposed to be out. Oh, I'm supposed to have good friends. I'm supposed to, be out there, do everything that I need to do. That's balance. But on the journey of intentional parenting, we teach essentialism, not just balance. Because when you create a balance and your children are at a particular stage of their life that needs something else more than they need the other, then the whole concept of balance doesn't now make sense on your journey. So that's the next tenet of intentional parenting. This is our, product. That's the next tenet of intentional parenting. Ability, to understand the concept of essentialism. What is essential to a mother who is a toddler, who has toddlers today? It's not what is essential to a mother who has teenagers. So if we do not understand essentialism as a whole and we keep shouting balance, 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 then we're not going to be able to actually parent the way that we should parent. Now, I have shared with you and I said that there are 6 tenets, and we're not going to be treating all of these 5 tenets that I have named today. We're going to, like I said, is a curriculum that is exclusive for the parents in the inner circle. We're going to be looking at the 6th one, which is the ability to apply the best knowledge. It's okay to get knowledge, but it is much more important to apply knowledge. What gives you the extras is actually the application of knowledge, not just the knowledge that you get. So intentional parenting teaches you on a journey of how to apply knowledge applied. And today, what we're talking about is parenting from the place of knowledge. Are you still here with me? Are you on Facebook? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please share with me that you can hear me. All right, before we go on, and is this bringing you value? If it is, let me see you with the fire emoji somewhere right there in the comment section as we continue. So we're going to be looking at the ability. We're going to be looking at the ability, to look at knowledge as a whole. Is it me? I can't see chats on our Facebook community. Is it me? I'm hoping that that's not me. Please, if you're there, let me see your comments. Thank you so much. I think I have maybe missed a bit. Okay, awesome. All right. Your comments makes me know that you're right here with me. Okay. All right. So that is good. Thank you so much. All right. I can hear you. My mom. Thank you. All right. So that is where we are. So we're looking at knowledge. Now, we must understand that knowledge in parenting must be drawn from 2 sides: formal knowledge and informal knowledge. I'm going to explain.
So, you know, the formal knowledge where you go get what you need to learn, you know, research-based knowledge. You need it. Then you need the informal knowledge. That is the lived experiences of people, your own experiences, your personal journey, also people's insight into a lot of things, and then your personal insights about family, about ourselves, and about the children in general. So generally, you need both types of knowledge. All right. Part of what it is that we provide in the inner circle for you is that you have those bases, the research knowledge and the experience knowledge. You cannot go so far if you do not have both knowledges merged together as a parent. You need the two. It is very key to your journey, extremely important. All right. When you bring both types of knowledge, you will be in a better place and also be a better parent to be able to make wise choices, and most importantly, make intentional choices. Now, a lot of the times when you ask parents, all right, what are the things that you value? Now, the next one that you need, apart from formal education and informal education, which now also falls under informal education, is self-knowledge. A lot of us lack self-knowledge. We don't know who we are. We're parenting people, but we haven't even understood who we are. It's another important angle, and it's about you being aware of the things that who you are. Being aware and honest about what you know, what you don't know, what your values are, what your beliefs are. Are you in touch with them? It's okay to know them, but are you in touch with them? All of us have blind spots. Every single one of us have blind spots and areas where you may be lacking in experience, understanding, and ability. So you need to do a self-knowledge first before you can now learn from both the formal and the informal system of knowledge that is needed. Interestingly, I see parents sometimes and they know more than they do, right? Yes, they say things like they just want to pretend, that's the word, that they know what they're doing. But interestingly, they really do not know what they are doing. But because they want to maintain the parental authority, they go on without recognizing these blind spots, without recognizing the things that they need to do, and then they go on with it. Wisdom would also include that you understand your emotional limits, your social limits. What are those? These are also all included in self-knowledge. These are all included in self-knowledge. Why do I need to seek knowledge? Why do I need knowledge? Number one, making parental tough decisions, right? Making parental tough decisions can be easier when you have a moral compass to guide you on the way. Now, the moral compass is if you have been able to actually assess self-knowledge. You sit down by yourself and you are able to say, this is where I am per time. A lot of us don't even know what our value system is. I was teaching in the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro challenge, and I was telling parents that, do you know that your sex conversations, your values are going to limit or give your sex conversations wing to fly? And I was sharing a story of a woman who was watching a Nigerian movie, right? Part of her, what we call the sex conversation creed, right, is that chastity is important. And while she was watching that movie, the girl couldn't get pregnant. She'd be married and couldn't get pregnant. And then she said her teenage children were there. And then she said something to the teenage children and said, they were just having a conversation. And she said, why didn't they try before they even got married? That is not coming from a conscious place. It's coming from the wiring. That is why, for you to make impact on your journey, then you need to be able to actually look at what you believe in, your prejudices, the things you believe in, the things you're thinking per time. What are they? You need to ask your questions. You have to ask yourself questions at every point in time, asking yourself, what do I really believe in? If there's nothing you take away from this class, go and sit down and ask yourself, what are my belief systems? I see a lot of people have issues with teenagers who are there shouting, I want to be like Naira Marley and all of that. But it's parents that are the biggest followers of all of these people. Name them. Bobrisky, Naira Marley. Name them. It's parents. It's not really teenagers, really. It's parents that are actually, the bigger percentage of people who follow Bobrisky is between the ages of here 24 and what 40 or something. That is the people that are actually parents right now. You need to look at what you believe in, look at your prejudices, look at, so that they don't form a conflict on your journey. But many of the times, because we do not even do self-knowledge, then we don't understand what we are doing. So we are continually struggling without knowing that what we're doing is conflicting whatever it is, all right, to actually, tell our children. I know we go with this mantra of the older generation that usually said, oh, do what I say, don't do what I do, or something of that nature. That doesn't work in parenting. Your children are going to model after you. They're going to model after the things that you are saying, you are doing. Apart from what you are saying, they see you do all of these things. Someone was telling me, talking to me about values, and I was trying to tell the parent that your value system is also going to affect the kind of values that you pass down to your children. What is your value system? Unknowingly, you can be preaching. So today we had a conversation, right, in the inner circle about who is better raised, the child raised abroad or the child raised in Nigeria. Interesting concept. Some of the parents in the inner circle followed through with that conversation. Interesting, angles and all of that. But as simple as that looks, and for those of us who do not believe again in Nigeria, which I don't, trust me, is the personal opinion, all right? But for those of us who are on that line, it will be difficult to actually teach country, believe in country from your perspective, because your children are going to hear you say a lot of those things, against the country, in quotes. So when you want to teach it won't go well. This is just an example. The same thing with people who believe that, I've heard parents, mothers who say that, oh, whatever works for you in marriage is okay. And then, they tell their children things like, oh, well, if the man is teaching and doing things that he's supposed to do, then it's okay. Now, when the children are hearing these things, and then you keep saying all of this in the conversations that happen around you, your children can hear and assimilate it. So your sons can also hear it. So there's nothing wrong with it. That's what it meant. So your children are hearing from your inside, not just the things that you are teaching them. You can teach them otherwise, but the things that you're doing is going to actually affect whatever decisions that they will make, eventually. And, people say, oh, but I've trained this child. I've done everything. I've done everything I needed to do. The question I usually ask is, if you have done everything really, was the everything you were doing the right thing? It's different. Doing everything is different from doing what is right. It's not the same. So you can do everything, and everything you did were wrong. Very important. Intentions are not enough in parenting. You need knowledge to be able to actually add to that. Number two reason why you need knowledge is that communicating with your child about important matters can actually be difficult, except you understand what matters to your child. What matters to a child? You need to understand a child, their learning style, their the way that they look at issues. The other day I was teaching the parents, in the inner circle, and I was teaching them about spiritual temperament of people. Do you know that people connect with God differently, including your children? So while you struggle for your child to become your temperament spiritually. Your child might not be your temperament. So you keep struggling because you lack knowledge on what spiritual temperament is and how to apply it. It's interesting what knowledge can rub us off on. What knowledge can rub us off on. You need to think deeply about it. The things that you need to communicate to your children, you need knowledge. It needs to come from the place of knowledge. Do you know that your children know when you are speaking and sharing from the place of knowledge and when you are just sharing whatever it is that comes from your head? Your children when you are knowledgeable about something. So if you do not do this, you're going to misunderstand your child. And you're going to misunderstand what matters to a child. The things that matter to you are not the things that matter to your child, because your child is a different kind of person. You know, there was a conversation in the community, in our community on Facebook, and part of the conversation, streamed in that community was that, this particular, case can be anything. I've seen somebody raise 5 children, 3 turned out okay, 2 did not. You are raising children based on probability. If you raise children on intention, there are 2 ways: probability or intentionality. I usually say that a lot of Africans raise children on probability. Pikin wey go good, go good. We say things like that. That is raising children on probability. And probability can give you 1/1, 2/3, right? Can give you 2/2, can give you 1/5, can give you, 0/5. Intentionality will give you 5/5. Now, if you really want to actually look at this, that's number 3. Without knowledge, you might never understand who you are parenting. You might never. Which was why our own parents raised 4 children, 2 turned out okay, 2 are still grappling with it, because we raised children based on a general knowledge. Yeah. Oh, just everybody. Meanwhile, there are children who do not align. I'm going to share a bit about without knowledge, you might never understand who your child is. Let me share a bit about this conversation. I was, when I started parenting, right? When I started parenting, I found out that our daughter was a very fast reader. She started reading at age 4 and could even read the valedictory speech of her school by the time she was leaving nursery school and going to primary school, right? Remember that I have a set of twins. If you haven't heard that before, yes, I do. I have a set of twins that are 11. And my son is also somebody, right, who was born the same day with this girl. Are they not supposed to do the same thing? I got frustrated on my journey. I got very frustrated and I didn't know what to do. I was always wondering, it is the same thing I'm teaching my daughter that I'm teaching our son. How could I have been wrong? I started saying, well, some people are going to get it, some people are not going to get it. You know that thing that you say, that's it. That's where it's coming from. It's coming from lack of knowledge. That's what it's coming. That's where it's coming from. When you, especially in Africa, right? Permit me. When we do not understand the thing, in Africa, we just spiritualize it, in quotes. I didn't understand. I just said, well, maybe that's how God created some people. I know you said that also in your homes. Oh, maybe this person is meant to be smarter than this person. I didn't know that was me not having knowledge. And then somehow I started to, seek more, and I started to question, no, there has to be something. This guy was so good doing his mathematics. So that means there's something. That means he's smart. So that means there's something about it. There's no child that isn't smart. A lot of the times, the problem is actually that we do not understand how to actually teach them. And when I went further to actually, begin to assess and all of that, I found out that my son was a kinesthetic learner and will never learn like my daughter. That was when I knew that all the while I have just been deceiving myself. I've just been deceiving myself. And I know that there are a lot of us, like that, right here as I speak, where you've been struggling. Oh, you've been thinking, oh, my child, this person is smart, this person is not smart. Oh, what can I do? It is because this is happening and all of that. It's not because of the child, and it's not how the child is not created to be done now, right? So what happens is that many of the times in our schools, many schools also do not understand the concept of learning style. So many people do not understand the concept of learning style. So they go ahead, right? They go ahead and say, oh, these children, there are children who know better than the others. When I found this concept, I started to look, more, and I realized that I was raising a kinesthetic learner who is never going to learn by me just sitting down and just running off. And our daughter was an auditory learner. And that explained why. That explained exactly why she could understand a lot of all that concept. And our son couldn't understand it just by listening. So his auditory part was very low. And because we didn't know, we couldn't build it. Again, you do not fight a war that you know nothing about. You do not fight a war that you know nothing about. You need to understand that. And because I didn't know, I was fighting from the place of lack of knowledge. And then immediately, I started to implement the things I learned for having a kinesthetic child and, putting all of that together. Just a few weeks ago, I was having a conversation with my husband, and, and then when my husband, we were reading, and, our son came in, he's in grade 6. Our son came in for, a conversation with us. And then while we were seated, he just read, our daughter now came in and said, oh, Ayo's essay was the best in class today. Oh, they read it to the whole class and told them that that's how an essay, it was an argumentative essay or something. That's how an essay should look. I flashed back to where we were coming from. My son would have struggled, and I would have just said, that's how he is, and continued my life. And because a simple knowledge changed the fact, I made him someone who could write essay that is being celebrated. It's beyond just, saying that, oh, this is, I know, oh, the child is this and all of that. You need to understand. If you don't have knowledge, you might never understand who you are raising. The point is never. It's not that you will not. You might never understand who you are raising. So if you're going to raise anybody, you need to understand who they are. And if you're going to understand who they are, you need the right knowledge. If you do not have the right knowledge, you will practically struggle. That's the word. I struggled for so long until I understood that. I understood that I needed to teach him actively more than I was teaching the sister. And then I also understood that I needed to help him groom his auditory aspect of learning, because a learner, must actually also be able to be grounded on all fronts of learning. But because he was dominantly a kinesthetic child, that was his primary way of picking information. And because that was a primary way of picking information, we needed to understand how to pass the information first, primarily, before we start to develop. If you can't teach him, primarily, how do you develop the other parts of the learning style? How do you do that? Now, that's the question. All right. Recently, last week, we opened up the Understanding Your Child's Learning Style class, and you want to enroll for that class. It was after my journey with my son, and I saw the progress that we made over the years. We came to create that course to help parents understand what they need to do, right? Not what they need to do to actually be able to help their children, especially when it comes to how they learn. A simple understanding your child's learning style can dissolve that yelling. You yell every day in your home about homework. So when people complain about, a child is lying down and all of that, my son reads a whole lot. He might, he might decide. I said he's a kinesthetic learner. He might decide that he's going to finish a novel sitting on the toilet. I don't have a problem with that. So you need to understand who you are parenting. Now, how do I start assessing this knowledge? How do I start assessing this knowledge? Number one, being aware of your limitation and having the courage to seek support and guidance is key. You must become aware of your limitations. What are my limitations? What is it that I don't know? I've seen a lot of parents, especially in our community on Facebook group, everybody wants to claim that, oh, there's something that they know. I was in a session today with one of the parents in our inner circle. We had a session. She lives in Netherlands. And we were, talking about a concept. And I said, even this concept, I am learning it on the go. I was teaching her about executive functioning skills and how I was able to actually teach my children on executive functioning skills. I got to know about executive functioning skills not from the beginning. I think that was four years ago. And I started to work on it. So I'm still working on it. So I told her, I said, I'm still learning about a lot of concepts. I'm still learning, tweaking all of that. She said, Coach, with everything you know, how can you say you're learning? I had a good laugh. And I said to her, if at any point in time, I decide that, oh, so I know it all, that means that there's a problem. The moment you tell yourself that in you just know everything, like I say often, wisdom is in the things that others know that you do not know. That's wisdom. There are things that people know that I don't know. So how can I sit down and say to myself, I just know it all? There are things that I have learned from parents in the inner circle while conversations go on. So there are things that I have sat in class that I know that I needed to actually know it. So that's where wisdom is. Wisdom is in the things that others know that you do not know. Somebody write that in the comment section for me. I want it to be something that you will take home when you're going home. Wisdom is in the things that others know that you do not know. That's wisdom. That's wisdom, really. Wisdom is not in the things you know because you are limited. So you need to be aware of your limitation. I often say to the parents in the inner circle that it is an error to ever think that you can parent a child alone. It is an error to ever think that you will parent a child alone. I'm repeating that again. Because there's a time you get to, on your parenting journey, you cease to become the most influential person in the life of your child. I don't know how I'm going to say this to you, right? If I say this to you in a I might distort a lot of things. So let me leave it there. Just know that you're limited in yourself. That creating a human being is a lot. So when you think that on your own, that you have all it takes to raise a human being, only you, then you must be very mistaken. You need to understand that there is much, much more to raising a human being. I know this one. You don't know the other one. You need to think it. Come down from your high horse. Release yourself from all the I know it all mantra, from all the, oh, what is it that they're going to teach me? Come down from there and tell yourself, I do not know. That's the only way that you will actually be able to learn as you're going. Number two, do a study on self-knowledge. Do a study on how to understand yourself. It's important. Do a study on how to understand yourself. The next one is you need to know the strength and the limits of the different forms of knowledge. You need to know the strengths. Okay, I want to be sure that I can still be heard. I want to be sure that I can still be heard. If you're watching me on Facebook, I want to be sure that I can still be heard, please. If you can still hear me, if you're watching me on YouTube, I know that YouTube can still hear me. I'm particularly listening for the parents on the people in our Facebook community. I don't know if I can still be heard. Please confirm to me that I can still be heard. Please confirm to me that I can still be heard loud and clear. Thank you so much. All right. So I can hear you from Cameroon. Thank you so much. I can hear you. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. So you need to know your strength and the limits of the different forms of knowledge. Now, you have those different forms of knowledge that we are talking about, right? We have the knowledge, the formal knowledge, the informal knowledge. Thank you, Mom. The informal knowledge and all of the things that we are sharing right, currently. But all of these things that we're sharing, even the self-knowledge, what do you know the limitations? Now, research-based knowledge is usually the most reliable, but personal knowledge is usually relevant, but not very reliable. So you need to be able to balance them. You need to be able to balance them. How do you begin to balance them? Which is actually the real, issue. You need to actually seek deeper to know how this can be balanced. Number 4, you need to know yourself. Take time to study you, your weaknesses, your blind spots, and how you can strengthen them. Do not study your blind spots and your weaknesses and just say, I've studied it, and that's it, and all of that. Somebody put that in the comment section. Know yourself. Take time to study your weaknesses, your strength, your blind spots, and how you can strengthen them. We all do have those weaknesses. So somebody write it in the comment section. Take time to study you, your weaknesses, your blind spot, and how you can strengthen them. Very important. Very important. You need to take that home. Please put that in the comment section. You need to take that home. That will help you also to be able to review a lot of the things that we have said here. Number 5, you need to know your child. If you must know your child, how do you know your child? You need to understand your child's personality. For instance, we're having a conversation in the inner circle, and we're having a conversation about parenting a choleric child who is also a kinesthetic child. That will confuse you if you do not have an understanding of what I'm saying. A choleric child is also kinesthetic. There are two mixtures that is very interesting. When you have a child who is kinesthetic and also choleric, then you are in a war. And many times I've seen sanguine and kinesthetic. So that means a lot of things will be very unserious. And many times we've seen sanguine parents raising sanguine children. And many of the times we've seen that these sanguine parents are struggling themselves. And so raising the sanguine child has also become a problem. So you need to understand all of these concepts that I'm sharing. You need to understand all of these concepts that I'm sharing. Who is my child that is kinesthetic? What does it mean for a child to be sanguine? What are the characteristics? What is my child's love language? I was sharing recently, we read a book in the inner circle called Understanding the 5 Love Languages of Children. It's part of the books that you must read if you are in the inner circle. Must. It's not, it's a must. And in that book, you are able to study your child's, love languages, the things that they like and all of that. A lot of us do not know. A lot of us do not know. Do you know that a child that it has a love language of words of affirmation, right? Words of affirmation, and you keep talking to them using those harsh words, you're actually destroying them more than any other child. If you do not understand your child, I don't know how you parent someone that you do not know. I don't know how you parent anybody that you do not know. You need to get it. And if you must parent anybody, then you must understand who they are. I'm parenting, for instance, my son is sanguine and kinesthetic. I know the kind of war I'm fighting. I'm not deceived by whatever it is. I know what is involved. So it is what is involved that I'm actually, putting a lot of all of this together. I know that my daughter is, a dominant, very dominant on the tree learner. In fact, she tells me that she has a note in her head. So it means that everything I say is recorded somewhere. My son doesn't, his auditory part is not as, big. You need to understand it. It makes me, even for you to discipline appropriately, see all this yelling, shouting, flogging, is because you don't understand who you're parenting. If you do understand who you're parenting, you won't be screaming like a mad person everywhere. You won't be flogging anybody really, because you understand what is needed per time. And you understand how you need to go about it. So you need to know your child, right? So knowing your child includes also understanding their learning style. Like I said earlier, we have a course that is coming up on the 16th that is called Understanding Your Child's Learning Style. And that course is starting on the 16th. It's a self-paced course in the academy. It's online. And we have an early bird offer, a discounted offer of 50% that is going to end, I think it's ending in 2 days, right? And that discount offer is 10,000 naira instead of 20,000 naira, and that ends in 2 days, and then you go ahead and pay 20,000 naira as we are going, right? Number 6, you need to seek to learn from others. You need to seek to learn from others. In fact, I'm sure that the parents in the inner circle will tell you that learning from others is a big thing in the community. If every parent needs a village. Now, because we don't have the physical village, somebody asked in the inner circle recently, Shebi, they said we all need a village. Please, can you show me where I can drop my children in that village and go? It takes a village to raise a child. It actually does take a village. And when we talk about taking a village to raise a child, it means that you're going to actually learn from other people. You need to open up yourself to learn from the system. It's going to help you. It's going to help you a great deal. You need to also, which is the last one, you need to seek to learn from professionals. Remember that at the beginning, we shared on knowledge-based parenting and formal knowledge and informal knowledge. When you learn from professionals, you are going to be learning the knowledge-based parenting, which is the formal education, so to say. When you get into a community, get into a system like what we have in the inner circle program, you need to also learn from informal knowledge. You learn from people and all of that. I know that there are a lot of things that we can pick from, the older generation, but the problem is that we lack the ability to frame problems appropriately. We lack the ability to frame problems appropriately, which is one of the reasons why we are still struggling and saying things like, no, they just turned out okay, blah, blah, blah. I've told my mom severally, my mom is here, as you know, my mom is here every Tuesday. And when people say all of that, my mom and I had a conversation recently, and we were saying that there are a lot of things that they could have done, a lot more better. I have used the concept that my parents have tried to teach, but didn't teach the process well. I have turned it around and be able to redirect the process and make it a better system. Because I understand how to frame problems appropriately. I understand how to expand on my perspective. I understand how to aim for the right purpose. I understand how to apply the best knowledge. And I understand the concept of essentialism. This is the tenet of intentional parenting. And like I said, I'm only able to share on the tenet of knowledge today. And well, that's the only time I'm going to be sharing on the topic on the tenets of intentional parenting. But we will share, of course, the parents in the inner circle. This is their curriculum. I just gave you a bite out of their curriculum, just a sneak peek, right, out of their curriculum. All right, so we have questions. We have 10 minutes to go. If you want to register for the Understanding Your Child Learning Style course, all you need to do is just to put that you want to understand your child's learning style. That's a place to start from. Without understanding how your child learns, you will struggle with instructions. All those things say, I've been giving instructions, they are not listening. Why? It could just be as simple as your son is a kinesthetic learner and cannot frame information. I tell you one of the things that happened to me, all right, when I started my parenting journey. As you know, I started my parenting journey, we started by parenting the foster daughter, who is currently married. All right, parented her, for years, 12 years. And when I started, of course, I didn't even understand the place of understanding learning style and all of that. You want to talk from now, and she doesn't pick anything. And I used to get really upset. So people say things like to me, like, I've been talking, my children are not listening. If your child is a kinesthetic learner and you are talking your long talk, you're going to lose the child. Or your child is a visual learner. As you're talking, your child is going to be looking at that thing that is on your face. You've lost the child. So it is one thing to even say, oh, I'm disciplining the child. It's another thing to know the method that works for each child. And how do you know the method that works for each child? The first place you need to begin is to understand your child's learning style. I remember when we launched this course 3 years ago, we've had thousands of parents in this course, nothing less than 2,000. And the first set of parents who took this course were about 1,000 parents. A parent, many of them said to me, Ma, all of the things that you teach us in the academy is actually us that need to be reparented first. Because as you're talking to me, I now understand why I did poorly in my WAEC, because this, happened and this didn't happen. There is a place for knowledge, and you can never take that away. And by the time they were done in that class, a lot of them said, I wish I knew these things when I started parenting. A lot of parents in the inner circle tell me, I wish many of the things I know, I wish I started knowing before I started even parenting. We have a very interesting person in the inner circle who is single and said to me, I'm going to learn year in, year out until I start having my children. I envy her many of the times, trust me. So if you want to be part of the learning style course, all you need to do is to put up a conversation and say you want to be type learning style. And for those people are asking me for the inner circle, if you want to be part of the inner circle, all you need to do to be part of the inner circle is just to put inner circle in the comment section. We would also reach out to you. All right. We also registrations are on for the inner circle, and currently for the inner circle we have filled in the first batch, right, for the inner circle, and we're waiting and hoping that the second batch will open it today. We opened the second batch today, and we're hoping that you'll be able to jump in right into it. Okay, if you have questions, I have a problem from Cameroon. Help, Pico. I want to be part of the inner circle. Okay, Fallon, please send me a chat. Cameroonians can pay using Paystack, and that's why we have a lot of Cameroonians in the inner circle. They can pay using Paystack, so you can actually send all of those details. All right, Precious, please help us send a chat on how you can join. The inner circle so that we can share that with parents. If you want to join the inner circle, just please put inner circle. If you want to join the course, just put course in the comment section, right? For those of us who are on YouTube, you have the details on how to join the course right on the form. And if you want to also join the inner circle of your YouTube, you will see the number that is right there. Just send us a chat and ask us for details, right? Send us a chat and ask us for details. Okay. Fallon, please, all you need to do is just send me a chat privately. I will give you the Paystack link instead, right? How do I join the inner circle? Mojisola, all you need to do is to send us a chat. See the number right on the screen. Send us a chat and share all of that details. To register for the course, Augustine, please help me share the details of the registration of that course, and we would also pin it right here on the Facebook community as well. If you have questions, please ask away. You have 5 minutes before I leave. All right? And remember, by tomorrow, we are going to stop the discount offer for the learning style course. That's too. Then remember, we're talking about knowledge. We're bringing you free undiluted knowledge from 30 coaches. You don't want to miss that. We have the annual TIP conference coming up on the 23rd of this month. We just have 2 weeks for that conference to start. That's on Friday, 23rd of this month. It is usually hot. If you attend TIP annual conference, trust me, your parenting life will go through 360 degrees round. You want to be at the TIP annual conference. We have it plastered everywhere on all of our system. We also have it on our community on Facebook. So just check out our community tab and you will see the details to register for the conference. So the conference is free. It is online. It is streamed free, completely free. You also just need to buy data and be there live with us. All right, just come. We're bringing you coaches 38 days, and we are going to be having people talk about drugs, talk about parenting from different perspectives. Remember what I told you: wisdom is the things that others know that you do not know. That's wisdom. So come and hear the stories of men. Come and hear from the knowledge of men, and come and learn. All right, look for all of the links in all of our posts, and then you will be registering, and then you'll be coming. We'll have some of the speakers right here watching on this Tuesday live. You don't want to miss being there, trust me. All right, so if you want to be part of the inner circle, I don't know if you're here watching me, Augustine, please, all you need to do is to just put in the comment section inner circle. All right, Ijoma promise, please send a chat. Send us a chat. Send us a chat. Send us a chat if you want to be part of the inner circle, right? So please send us a chat. Of course, you can also send the whole registration link for the Learning Style course for parents to also register. This will be the only time the Learning Style course is permanent in this year. We were not even going to bring it. Parents in the inner circle dragged us out. In fact, they kept asking because we kept talking about it and all of that. Remember, if you register, you're also going to get a guide on, learning style. You're going to get, some mock sheets and all of that. If you ever attended anything that we have done, of course, you will know that we give you extra value for whatever it is that you get into the system for. Extra is not this thing, extra value. You will see value for your money anytime, any day. All right. So send us a chat, and then we will share details with you on how you can join the inner circle. Like I said, on how you can join, the inner circle. Yes. Like I said, the inner circle currently we started registering the second batch because the first batch is full for 2022. When we shut down our door, we shut it down for the year. This time around, we're not opening it up in any time. So we shut it down for the year, and that's the only time you can have access. All right. So you can register now and, do all of the things that you need to do, spread your payment, make your payment, even before January 1st gets there. All right. So it's easier for you to actually begin your process now. And then for all of the people who book their slots, of course, that's what we're currently doing. You book a slot to be in the inner circle right now. And if you book a slot before October, it means that you have an automatic ticket. But if you do not, when registration starts in October, then you're going to be scrambling with people who are, coming in. So and then it also depends on what available slots are available. So already for the people booking slots, and we have one full batch full for booking slots, all right, who have already booked slots. So it means that we're going to have very limited number when registration starts. Okay, we're going to have very limited number when registration starts. So you want to actually be part of that system, then you want to book a slot now. Book a slot now, and then start working on being in the inner circle with us in 2022. The inner circle is one of the best things that can happen to your journey. Trust me, I can assure you, that. And the parents in the inner circle can also attest to that as well. All right, I couldn't see any other session. Somebody said, what is blind spot? So blind spot, when you're driving, you have a blind spot. A blind spot is the places that you can't see. But when you actually do a proper review of what you're doing, you'll be able to see those blind spots. So that's what we're talking about when we say blind spots, all right? So it's the blind spots that we are talking about for you to be able to see, all right, and review. Thank you so much, everybody. I can't see any more questions. I want to register for the inner circle, please. All right, Olabimpe, please, what you need to do is take a look at this screen and then do make all the details, or you can also check the description of the video. When we're done, we'll update that so that you'll be able to also register for it. Thank you everybody for coming online with me as usual. Remember that the TIP annual conference is going to, is going to blow your mind. I have a full jotter for the annual conference. I usually buy a jotter for the annual conference every year. The things you learn from the annual conference, you can't get it anywhere. You can't even Google it. It's on Googleable. It's on Googleable, right? So can one register for both inner circle and understanding your child learning style now? Yes, Esther, you can. Yes, you can. Just send me a chat and you will be able to see all the details that you need. Send me a chat and you'll be able to get all this. So you can register for both. All right? You can register for both. Thank you so much, everybody. And do have an amazing day. I don't think I can see any more questions. It's been awesome hanging out with you again. See you again next Tuesday. And if you are up for it, see you on Thursday by 4 p.m. on our Instagram page. All right. The last Tuesday session, we're going to have Tuesday session on in 2 weeks, but the last week, we're not going to have the Tuesday session because we're going to have this thing ongoing. All right. So we're going to have the conference ongoing. So that will be your Tuesday session. All right. So thank you, everybody, and do have an amazing day. You've got questions. You're coming from our Telegram channel. Please ask your questions on that channel and we'll respond to you. If you have questions, you can ask right here. We'll respond to you even after this broadcast is over. Have a good evening.